Hey guys, HindleCBA here, and I'm bringing you a deck profile on Sylvans. I did a Sylvan deck profile for October, so if you want to go check that out, check that out. But this is for November. I changed and updated the deck. I think it works a bit better, and I will still carry on changing this deck whenever I can, giving more updates in the future for it, because it's one of my favorite decks. So I'm just going to get into the deck profile. So starting with the Sylvan monsters, play 3 Sylvan Hermitaries. This card is just the best Sylvan in the deck in my opinion. It's your draws, it's your organisation, and is 2,700 attack. So yeah, even though it's level 8, it's pretty easy to bring out in this deck. So yeah. Then we play 3 Sylvan in Stage Goya. This card is just good for recycling your Sylvan spells and traps, mainly Charity and Sylvania if you need one on the field. Yeah, it also has excavation effects and also has 2,600 attack, which is still not bad. And then still playing the 1 Blade Fender. I still think this card's better than the Flower Knight, just generally because it's 1,900 attack. It's, let's say, it's food for Mount Sylvania, because if this card's activated, you add it to your hand, so then you can use Mount Sylvania's effect to discard it, put something on top. And it's Earth, which can bring out Interior Beast, which I do play. And then 2 Marsh Leaf. This card is just good when you normally activate 1 or 2 cards, and if it's activated itself, blow up a monster. So yeah. 2 Kuroshimos. I still play this. I don't think it's that bad of a card. A lot of people say it's slow because it had to be flipped face up to get its effect, but when it gets its effect off, it's pretty damn good. And yeah, also just popping spell and traps if you need to is pretty good. And then 2 Princess Sprouts. This card lets you go into your place, your XYZs, changing its levels for a synchros. So after explaining that, if you don't know what it does, if it's excavated, declare a level between 1 and 8, special summon it from the grave, and it becomes that level. So yeah, pretty good. And then 1 Peacekeeper. This card's, I think, still only good at 1 because it's pretty underwhelming if you get it late game, because usually you've used all your monsters, all your loan files to bring out monsters. I guess you can go in your tuners, but usually this card's good for getting a loan file back from the grave. The last Sylvan card is Sylvan Cherry Sprout. Good to bring out your level 1s from the deck. They have to be plants, not just any level 1. Yeah, good to bring out the tuners, and if you need so, you can bring out Rose Lover, which I also play, so spoiler, I guess. I don't know. And then that's it for the Sylvan monsters. Now just onto the plant monsters. 3 Lone Fires. Lone Fire's great. Bring out Hermitry really easily. And yeah, it's just good. And if you have Soul Charge while opening this, pretty damn good. And then 2 Rose Lovers. If you don't know what this card does, banish it from the grave, special summon 1 plant type from your hand, and it's unaffected by traps this turn. So it's a good way to bring out your Hermitries if you're unable to, if they're already in your hand, of course. And yeah, and it's a nice thing to send with Mount Sylvania. And then for the tuners, Glow Up Bulb, just really good tuner in general. Spore, good in plants, plant decks which involve synchros, and Copy Plant. I use this card for XYZs a bit more, because if you don't know what it does, it copies a level of a plant type monster on the field. So you can copy Hermitry, becomes level 8, and then go into a rank 8. So yeah. And then these are non-plant monsters, but there are 2 Rose Archers. This card is just good to negate traps in general. When you push for game, if you have one of these in your hand, you push for game, deactivate a Mirror Force, discard this, and negate Mirror Force. You know, stuff like that. or any traps in general. As long as you have a face-up plant-type monster on the field, you can discard and activate its effect. So that's it for the monster lineup. For the spells, 3 Mount Sylvania, really good field spell for the deck. Just stacking your deck is really good. Having the Sylvan you want on top of your deck, and also you can decide what you want to draw. If you reveal the top every time in your end phase, you draw you show the top card of your deck. If it's a planet, you send it. If not, you can decide if you want to draw it for your draw phase. So it's quite good, and that effect happens in your opponent's end phase. So then you can decide what you want to draw. So yeah. And then of course you play this 3 Sylvan Charities, really good draw cards. Can go pluses off this card really well. Of course, draw 3, then you put any 2 cards from your hands on top of the deck, as long as one of them's a Sylvan card. So yeah, really good. Then 3 Miracle Fertilizers. Yeah, just good to bring back monsters. If you have to, you can activate all 3 of these in one turn, so you can bring back 3 monsters. Then the effect of this card is you can special summon plant type from the grave. If it leaves the field, destroy this card. But if you XYZ with the card you bring back this card stays. So it's really good. And then we play Book of the Moon. I still feel strongly about being able to side Royal Decrees, because Royal Decree can come in so handy. And yeah, so I still play this. I want to play this because it's pretty decent as well. 1 for 1. It's good to bring out your level 1s which you need, and also put maybe some maybe put Hermitry in the grave to be able to Miracle Fertilize them. So yeah. And then Forbidden Chalice, still strong about the being able to side Royal Decrees. This card's still good. Just being able to negate a card monster's effect, pretty good. And then Raigeki, because Raigeki is just, yeah, it's good. And then Soul Charge, Soul Charge is good in this deck. So yeah. And that's it for the spells. And for the last card, 1 trap, which is a Valleys of Emptiness. Good to have. You can work around it quite easily. And yeah. So that's it for the main deck. That's 40 cards. And so now I'll move on to the extra deck. So starting off with the Synchros, Naturia Beast, because you can make this with Blade Fender and Glow Up Bulb. If you get this card out, it's really good. Crimson Blader, because this card can hurt a lot of decks if you manage to destroy a monster by battle. And yeah, this is a bit different. You don't have to play these, but I play this because I enjoy these cards too much. There are other substitutes for these cards, which I'll show at the end. But for now, I thought I'd try these. And yeah, it's the Archfiend Archetype Synchros, if that's what I'm going to call them. Yeah, so you can make this quite easily. Level 8, Sage Coil, Glow Up Balls, all that. And then it's a good effect, blowing up all, all monsters your opponent controls, all the tap position monsters, and only this card can attack this turn, which is the downside of the card. You can play Scarlight, which came out in Dimension of Chaos. I'm not sure if I want to play it or not. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to this one. This one can be made with a tuner and a Dark Dragon type Synchro monster, which is this card. And this card's pretty decent. Once per turn, during either player's turn, target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and negate that card until the end of this turn. So they can maybe activate Raigeki, you can negate that card effect. If they have, maybe they activate a Chicken Race, I can't remember what it's called, both names, you can negate it and they can't use this effect. And also it has the effect of when this card inflicts battle damage, you can special one tuner from the graveyard. So that brings on, you can bring out the next monster, which is a level 10. This is 8, 9, 10. You can tribute 1 monster and special summon 1 Archfiend monster from your graveyard. So you can tribute any monster on your side of the field, of course. And then you can just bring out this. So you have these 2 cards on the field, which are really good. And then when this card inflicts battle damage, you can special summon 1 You can special summon 2 tuners, one for the graveyards and one for your deck, and they both have to have the same levels. So it's a good way to bring out your level 1 tuners easily. So yeah, and it's 3/5, so it's quite good. So yeah, you don't have to play these. I'll show you substitutes at the end of the deck profile, well, at the end of the extra deck, because people may not be too keen playing these. I just like them for my own preference. So last 2 synchros, Leo, because Leo's really good. Soul Eater, Soul Eater, what am I going on about? Star Eater, shout out to Soul Eater. Anyway, Star Eater, because it's still a good card, can make it quite easily. And yeah. And now for the XYZs, Aria, the Sylvan High Arbiter. This card is your stacking machine. You send any plant type monster from the field or hand and organize your deck, the top of your deck, depending on the level you send. So if you send a Hermitry, you organize the top 8 cards of your deck, which is, oh my gosh. And that's just, it's one effect. And then detach 1 material, declare a number between 1 and 3, and excavate that many cards. For each plant excavated, you can return that many cards from the field to the hand. And this card doesn't target, so it can get around certain cards, like maybe Magic Spectres or Cosmo, and stuff like that. And then this is a new edition. I didn't have one in my last deck profile, but I managed to pick up a Big Eye. Big Eye is still good. Yeah, just Big Eye in general is good. That's all I can say. Draco Sack, still pretty good. Decent level, rank 7. Can synchro with its tokens, and yeah. And then 2 Falgrands, because Falgran's great. With Shadows not being as good as they used to, this card becomes so much useful. It's a better matchup, because Shadows sort of destroy this deck, because Construct could just run into this card, and that would be it for your Felgrand, and then they get to recycle. Anyway, I'm going about Shadows too much. This is Sylvan's. So yeah, Felgrand, just good card in general. Probably one of my favourite rank monsters out there. And then Izel, the Sylvan High Protector. This card's quite good. Once per turn, declare 1 card name, activate the top card of your deck, and if it's that declared card, add it to your hand. Otherwise, send it to the grave. So you can declare Exodia, the Forbidden One, and then that card will be sent whichever one is on top of your deck. And then when a card is sent from the deck to the graveyards, detach 1, and you can put 1 card on the field to the top or bottom of the deck. So you can choose what they draw. So maybe you give them a really bad card to draw next time, which won't help them at all. So yeah. Number 107, Tachyon Dragon. I still think it's a good card. You might be able to replace this. Just being able to negate all monster effects on the field is great. And it can attack twice if monster effects activate in the battle phase. And it gains 1,000 attack. So yeah, it's alright. And then for the final monster, not that exciting, but Heretic Sun Dragon, Overlord of Heliopolis. Just being able to tribute monsters that you want maybe in the graveyard from your hand or field, and then destroying that many cards on the field. So yeah, that's it for the extra deck. Yes, the Archfiends may be a bit meh with people, but here's 3 replacements that you might want to put in. Gimmick Puppet, just good against deck switch XYZ, and also popping special summon monsters is also good. They don't have to be XYZs, but you get burn damage if they're XYZs, depending on their level, attack. And then you can play Formless Synchron. I may put this in instead of something I'm not too sure, but of course it can be the Archfiends. I'm still testing the Archfiends, so yeah, Formless Synchron, just being able to go into this is pretty good. And then just Scrap Dragon, a generic, really good synchro. So yeah. So that's the profile done. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments on the deck, let me know. Any pointers, any negative stuff about the deck that you want to point out. Like the video if you enjoyed, all this stuff. Yeah, anyway, that's it. So goodbye for now.